on Sunday,
Yeah.
one of the things you talked about was how when something will happen, lots of people will say, tweet, post thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers, my friend.
And when you said that, what I immediately thought of was this very Southern saying, I'm going to pray for you. And, it sounds so nice, kind of like thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
But it's not really very nice. In fact, it's I'm pretty convinced it's a Southern curse word.
Uh-huh.
But I got to thinking about it. Oh man, that sounded super Southern. The way I just said. I got to thinking about it, and I thought about things that I want to pray for.
Yeah.
And obviously these are very serious. And really thoughts and prayers go out. I'm going to pray for you. Iced decaf non-fat coffee. You're doing nothing for nobody. And you really wish you were just water. And that sounds really hard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your struggle. I'm going to pray for you.
I was thinking of athleisure wear as like I put it on and I never make it to the gym. I never make it to the thing. But I looked like I did while I actually just binge watched some Netflix for many hours in a row. Yeah. In athleisure wear, though. So I'm going to pray for you.
Poor athleisure wear. It just wants to work out. I'm going to pray for you, Labubu Charms.
Labubu Charms. Just the name Labubu Charms deserves some prayer.
I'm not 100% sure I'm saying it right. These are little charms that you put on your purse. And are they cute? Absolutely. Who doesn't want like a little animal on their purse, a little thing? Yeah. It's not exactly. It's a little thing on their purse. They cute? Sure. Yes, 100%. But they're also wannabe Beanie Babies. And it's like if a Beanie Baby and a Tamagotchi had a baby. And I just feel bad for them and for the fact they missed the 90s. Because clearly it's a callback. And so I'm going to pray for you, Labubu.
Okay, I have one. I do this. I'm going to pray for you who put veggies on meals to make you think they're healthy, i.e. vegetable pizza.
That mushroom's not going to say that.
Or the inverse of it, people who take like, again, you take like an apple and put caramel on it. It's still healthy. You're eating an apple, right? An apple. Or dip the broccoli in ranch.
But like 15 gallons of ranch. You could be like my son, who we should definitely pray for, because he will dip it in the ranch and then like lick the ranch off and then do it again like it's a spoon.
Yeah, like it was
a veggie spoon.
Yeah, I'm gonna pray for you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because this is a little bit me, I'm gonna pray for our PSL girlies. That's pumpkin spice latte for the uninitiated. For those of you who are already in pumpkin spice latte season, I wish that you could will it to be fall. But down here in Texas, that is not the way it's working. And so I'm going to pray for you because I know it's a struggle and your AC is working real hard to help you pretend it's fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not praying for the pumpkin spice lattes. They are delicious.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's hard work living in the South.
I got another one.
Okay.
I'm going to pray for you who make a work schedule and to-do list and never do them. It's like, this is me. Some of y'all are really good.
You're just praying for Mark.
And you're doing this. And then there's me that's like, I literally have like a minute by minute scheduled out plan. And I'll get to the end of the day and be like, man, really didn't follow that today.
Well, life is hard.
Good try. Thanks for thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to pray for you, Mark.
That to-do list is somewhere.
I'm going to pray for that to-do list who feels neglected. Neglected and unloved.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing good. You're doing good. There's lots of things that we could pray for in this very Southern way. Yeah. But that's kind of what we're talking about what it is to just pray something away.
Just pray it away.
Just pray it away. That's what we talked about on Sunday. So let's get into it. Well, I'm Becca. I'm the pastor of Family Ministries here at Katy First.
And I'm Mark. I'm the senior pastor at Katy First.
Welcome to the Katy First Family Podcast, where we offer ideas, inspiration, and encouragement to help you and your family grow as joyful disciples of Jesus Christ. Today, we are continuing our conversation about our worship series, Don't Worry, Be Happy. Be happy?
Be happy. Are we happy?
My voice is not going to go any higher. We're talking about all the cliche things that people say somehow don't feel quite right when we line them up with what Scripture actually says. Today we're going to talk about pray it away. And I think this one really tackled some like big stuff for people. I know it did for me. One of the things right off the bat, you just went straight for it. You were just like, oh, we're going to talk about this? Let me just whoosh. Like, we're going in.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers, you said. I mean, like, out the gate. Thoughts and prayers, you said.
Thoughts and prayers.
I loved the way you talked about it as a sanitized way. This was a quote from someone, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I
Rich,
want to give you credit, but only when
it's
due.
No. This is Rich Viotis.
Okay, thank you. A sanitized way to ingrain us in the insanity of our world.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, rude, because it's so accurate.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's a way when we don't know how to react to something that's horrific, to try to, if we just have a ritualistic, pat, easy way to respond to it, that we don't have to put any thought into, then it helps us to just keep going.
Yeah.
Because everything seems to be on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. The other word that he used there that I like, sentimentalized apathy, which also kind of was a big, and like on one side of it, it's like, there's, because our awareness is so much higher of all the things that are hard, that's like, it maybe feels like a protective measure, but in reality, it's not good.
Yeah.
I kept trying. I actually had this later in the sermon, and when I practiced it, I realized, no, this is actually like kind of the heart of the tension.
Yeah.
And usually the tension comes, for me, the way I structure my sermons, comes early. And so it was like, okay, well, we're just jumping right in. Here's the real tension that we're talking about today.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I appreciated how quickly you went to it, mostly because I think not only is the idea of praying it away sort of like a cliche, I think the way we talk about prayer is often, not just with thoughts and prayers, but just in general. Mm-hmm. It's like someone, even person to person, tells you something really difficult that's going on, and I go, I am going to pray for you. Mm-hmm. And it's not that prayer doesn't matter, and that's absolutely not what you said, right? Prayer does fundamentally matter and affects work and change.
Yeah.
However, that's not usually how we use it.
Yeah.
And so it is like a really easy way to just get out of a tough situation.
Yeah.
To just bail when, somebody else is experiencing something difficult.
Yeah.
And I think right now, I don't know, I'm willing to be honest about this. There's so much going on in my life, but also in the world, especially in the world, that is just so horrific. I don't have another word for it. It's hard. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's wrong. It's unjust. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things. And there's so much going on that I do find myself maybe self-protecting. Maybe that's the gracious way of like talking about it. Yeah. But also just like looking away.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, in the places where I can, just being like that, I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Nadia Bowles-Weber who talks about like, and I'm not sure if there's some science behind this, but she uses the idea like we were created to carry the concerns of our community, not the world.
Yeah.
And we just can't help it right now. Carry the concerns of the world. We just, in our modern moment, the awareness of everything that happens is so much. Mm-hmm. And we weren't really, it's not feasible for any of us to try to carry all those concerns and then do something about it and have every issue be an issue that is something we can tackle or even carry as a burden. Yeah. So, I think I don't know what to do about it. It's not like we can, maybe there's certain turning off that's healthy. I don't know. I just think it's acknowledging like yeah, it is too much.
Yeah. No, it is too much. And I do think prayer is a good place to be. We want prayer to affect change and justice, but we have to talk about how prayer sort of works. And you said that prayer is fundamentally, there we go, I got it, that it's fundamentally formational because it aligns us to the heart of God. So say more about that.
Yeah, and I don't know who said it first. It wasn't me. I probably learned it somewhere in seminary. But this language of prayer being primarily about the heart of God, I think, it just makes sense in the ways that we see prayer talked about in Scripture. And in sort of the lived experience of prayer not becoming just this hotline of wanting to get God to do stuff for us, but about this thing that is about how we are finding that presence of God or that connection into God, and that primarily just means it's not like, even in the scripture we read, we still ask God for things boldly. God still is concerned with all these things. I think it's also true that, like, primarily at the end of the day, prayer is trying to help us connect into the heart of God. You might say the mind of God. Sometimes I leave that off because I think that leaves a little too much stuff out of it. It's like, how can I reconnect back into God so that this grounds me a little bit in this season that I have. And all these other things can be true, but primarily it's really about that.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, that's the gist of it. My question that I had a little bit was, what's that like when God feels far away?
Yeah.
Because I think that is, honestly, I feel like the times we need our faith or our prayer life the most are also the times that they're most difficult to access.
Yeah.
So how, when God feels far away, is prayer aligning us to the heart of God? Does that question make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I have a great answer for it. I think of, is it Mother Teresa, who, said towards the end of her life, she didn't feel a lot of that presence of God. But she still prayed. And I'm sure there's probably actually a quote out there where her talking about how prayer was a part of it, even though it wasn't necessarily a feeling that presence per se. So, it's hard for me to answer that. I can answer it personally in the sense of there's seasons where I shared one of them, 2020, I remember just feeling like I didn't have the faith to meet a moment. And it was very discouraging. I didn't know how to pray. And sort of realizing just take this, there was something about letting go that felt like that was realigning back into the heart of God. And a letting go in prayer. And honestly, for probably the past 5-6 years, most of my prayer has just been silence. I don't talk a lot. And it's because I didn't know what else to say. And when I did silent prayer, there were a few times where in the moment it was maybe particularly calming, but the repeated sort of time to just, and it was, when I say silent prayer, I mean 2 to 5 minutes, not I'm spending 30 minutes, but a repeated just pause. I felt more the cumulative effect than I did an individual instance of, and it sort of just became this practice of just sit and pause with God for a second. And it was more of a long-term presence than maybe in that very moment. So Yeah. I mean, and then I've had plenty of times when it's like, I don't feel anything. So I think prayer is hard because it's such a broad conversation. Sometimes when I'm preparing for sermons and I'm very anxious about it and thinking, I have nothing to say. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like, why am I going to get up tomorrow and talk? Mm-hmm. It feels inauthentic right now. Mm-hmm. And often my prayer there is just to realign back. God, just connect me with you for a second before I'm concerned about outputting something into a sermon. And that helps a little bit. And then I've certainly had other moments in life that were much more anxiety driven. That prayer wasn't necessarily stopping and praying. It may have been someone just speaking into me and helping me reconnect back into like, you're okay in this moment. Mm-hmm. And so kind of in the sense how I ended the sermon of like a women's group that had inspired me to remind like, you have to, we've talked about this recently, just that borrowing of faith sometimes helps me reconnect back into, I can trust, even if I don't feel in this moment, God's here. And that's what prayer, in the broadest sense, I think is trying to help us always come back to this most accessible spot of God is near you, even when we don't feel it. And sometimes we really do. So I don't know. It is hard to put into words.
Yeah, you definitely, towards the end of your sermon, you talked about borrowing faith from God, which I have mulled over. I mean, it's only been a hot minute. It's not like I have had a lot of time to think about it. I have to think about that phrase more. I like it. Mm-hmm. But like, God believes in God's self, like that, like I yes. Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely, it made me think of, I almost always want to do this. Whenever I do the pastoral prayer, I almost always, I don't do it, but I always say to myself, I always want to end the prayer with, God, we believe that you're good and that you hear us. Help us in our unbelief. Because I do think on any given Sunday, there are lots of us in the room who are like, I'm offering these prayers up and I'm trusting, I'm hoping, I'm literally praying, begging that this is going somewhere, that this matters in some way. Yeah. And just that trust in, help my unbelief when I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I don't know if it matters. I don't know if it's working. I don't know, but I'm doing it anyway. And that actually maybe that's it. Maybe that's just all there is to it, is just to try. Yeah.
Well, what I was thinking of in that particular words, I know you're aware of this. The classic, we're saved by faith, comes out in a number of places, but mainly Romans. Yeah. And the Greek is actually pretty ambiguous there, whose faith is saving us. Is it our faith in God, or is it the faith of Christ for us? And I think sometimes when I say that word, God, I want to borrow your faith, because I don't have any. I think that's what sometimes Paul is saying. What saves you is not yours and how much you believe and how faithful you are, but that God would loan to you that Spirit of Christ, and that faith would help you in that moment. Yeah. Or I think of Peter stepping out of the boat, and Jesus says, "Why do you don't believe?" Who does Peter not believe in? Does he not believe that Christ can help him, or does Peter not believe in himself? And Christ wants to say, you need to trust. You need to believe in yourself. That's what's making you sink. So I think in all those senses, like, God, give me what you have, because if I'm being quite honest, it's gone. Yeah. And it's like, I think we are so self-dependent on needing to ratchet up our own emotion, our own faith. We see so many examples of people who, when they're honest, like the guy who cries out, your very words, help me in my unbelief. Yeah. Here it is.
No, I think that makes sense. And that makes God, you talked about the Lord's Prayer and how it very immediately calls us to the heart of God, that on earth as it is in heaven. But one of the things that stuck out to me that I think goes along with what you just said is that it starts with like our Father, and it's this idea of, now I know that language is tough for people, and I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. If that's a struggle, I don't think Jesus is mad at you, even if you want to change the Lord's Prayer. Like, if that word, if Father isn't to you what it is to other people, fine.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel very lucky and blessed that, like, for me, that is a comforting word.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, when you need something and you call your dad,
mm-hmm.
like, dad shows up and dad helps.
Yeah.
And so if all you can do is be like, I need some help.
Yeah.
And just trusting, like, you can just relax a little bit.
Yeah.
It's nice, especially, I don't know, this is a family ministry podcast, as a parent, to think about being parented well.
Yeah.
I find that very comforting.
Yeah.
There's just like, okay, I wish somebody would come do for me all the things I'm doing for my kid to make sure that he's loved and cared for and protected and out ahead of things,
Yeah.
10 steps ahead to make sure that back here he's not going to trip at step 5, or if he is, that I'm going to be there to encourage him or whatever,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So I think that is like a very comforting.
Well, and I think that makes sense to me when I think about a kid that may be real anxious.
Yeah.
And they borrow calmness from their parents because their
Oh,
parents
that.
embodied that. Or a kid that's really nervous about the first day of school, and the parent can help them, like, you're borrowing their stuff in that moment.
I just think that for me helps me align more than if God is God. Does that make sense? Like,
yes. Yeah.
Sorry,
it makes it more personal, relational.
You can't see me. I did my hands far away in the clouds. Like, that God's not far away. Yeah, that God's like, present like a good parent would be.
Yeah.
You also talked about how prayer is transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And that prayer shouldn't be the end of what we're doing.
Yeah.
We actually, every week in Sunday school, we talk about the scripture before we go into worship. And so we talked about prayer. And the youth had some really good, interesting thoughts that, like, one of the things I love about working with teenagers is that you don't have to resolve everything. You just talk about it. And so we definitely didn't resolve how we felt about prayer. But they talked about how, and they even used this word, so proud, about how we're supposed to embody Christ, be Christ's hands and feet, and therefore a prayer could be asking someone else for help, or it could be being helpful to someone else. That if we're trying to connect to God through prayer, that it could just be the action of doing something for someone with the intention just to, like, care for them, or asking someone to help you is as a prayer. And it doesn't have to be directed just upwards. It can be directed out because God is there too. I think there's some tricky things in that, because I do think it's important for us to maintain a prayer relationship with God somehow, but it's an interesting idea to pray to the God that's present in other people, which is, I think, what they were pushing at. Does that make sense? Fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It makes me think of, we actually talked a little bit about this in Foundry on this past week. We were talking about mission and community engagement, and we sort of had this, like, classic example of, like, this is not exactly the same thing, but, like, is handing someone a peanut butter jelly sandwich who's hungry in the street evangelism. Just handing them a sandwich. It's this sort of classic silly. So I feel like that's a similar vein, like your actions displaying a faith. And Wesley has this, our theology is like, he believed that inward faith led to outward expression. And I think it's also true that something of outward expression leads to inward faith. And I think in that sense, prayer as a form of action and not just silence or talking or whatever can be also the avenue or the the form of prayer. I think it's the only thing I would say is just like probably an awareness of connecting those dots. Because I think it can become easy to lose that connection that maybe is a little more apparent in what we typically think of as prayer. But like, yeah, pray with your hands and feet, and make that part of your alignment to God.
Yeah, I think it's good. I was thinking about how do you sort of talk about prayer in our families, right? Do y'all do any like family prayer time? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Not like no, we don't really we haven't yet kind of built in sort of like a nighttime prayer or anything like that. Like Hannah is good about sort of more of gratitude, since I think that's a form of it. Like
100%.
That's awareness to goodness, awareness to so that sort of thing. So
yeah, I mean, we don't do when he was a baby, like when he not a baby, but like when he was little and couldn't sass me back. I would maybe pray like over him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mostly that he would just sleep, but he's a good sleeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then now the only time we do any like kind of formal praying, I don't know what that means. Is like if we eat dinner at the big table, as he calls it.
Yeah.
Which we don't do every night.
Yeah.
But we try to do a few times. Can I just say though, for the record, so that people aren't like, oh yeah, Pastor Becca like has a family meal and they all pray before they eat. I hate it. Not the prayer.
Not the prayer.
Just
the family meal part of it's hard.
It's awful. If people are out there loving it, I want to know how/why. Because like we sit down, I recognize its importance. Okay, I get it. Well, I'm gonna like socialize my child and make sure he's a good human. But like, honest to goodness, it's so overstimulating. Sit down in your chair. Don't put that in your mouth. Wipe your hands on your napkin, and like you don't want to constantly be correcting either, right? Because like nobody enjoys that, and so you kind of try to let some things go, and then he like crawls under the table and he hits his head every single time and never learns from it. Like it's not my favorite thing to do. I just want to eat my tacos while I watch TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's just what I want in my life, and so yeah. The prayer bit, though, it's really cute because he definitely has it memorized because we say the same thing every time. Yeah. And literally, I just took I knew they were praying in like
LPS.
Yeah, at LPS.
Yeah.
I did change it a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
And that's just what we pray if we're going to pray at dinner time.
Yeah.
And he's into it. He likes to hold hands. But we don't do like a prayers before sleep or anything like that. Yeah. But I do sometimes just try to, like, I'll say things about praying in front of him. Or I don't know. I just try to be in front of him. But he's really young still. Yeah. You know, I think as your kids get older, letting your kids know that you pray for them and offering to pray with them is really helpful. Yeah. Without agenda, you know. Yeah. You're not praying for their behavior. Like, that's not going to help. But praying for them as people. Yeah. Especially if they're anxious, you know. I have this one friend. It's a really sweet tradition. Every year on the first day of school, they all draw hearts, like tiny little hearts on their hands. So that they can look down at it all day long. And while they're separated, they have this reminder that they're... I don't know. That feels like a little pray. Yeah. I see it and I think of you and I pray for you. Like, like little things like that. And honestly, come on. Yeah. And they just recently had like a bonus baby. Like their other child is like 11 and they just had a baby. Oh.
It's like, what is a bonus baby?
A bonus baby.
I see what you're saying.
Later.
Got it.
It's like, you know, it's a really cute picture now with an 11-year-old. Yeah. And, you know, an 8-month-old. Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah. But I think, you know, just including kids in it, asking them about, you know, I know that in our Katy First Kids, that our kids have been learning, like memorizing the Lord's Prayer. I think there's real value in memorizing some things.
Yeah.
Because then as you get older, it's just there.
Yeah.
It's just in your bank, and if you want to use it, you've got it.
Yeah.
I think some of that stuff is really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think, and I don't want to put undue pressure on anyone's parenting shoulders, but I think what you also said about realizing how you parent your kid also affects how they pray.
Sure.
How they understand God as a parent who listens to them.
Yeah.
Who cares for them and responds to need.
Yeah.
So, I think that is formative in ways that we may be unaware of.
Yeah.
But
no, that's really good. It's one of my prayers literally every single day. Just let me make it all the way through bedtime with patience and kindness.
Yeah.
Because I'm by 4:30, if I'm lucky, I can make it all the way to 6:30.
Yeah.
And I'm doing good,
Yeah. Yeah.
But by bedtime, please just go to bed, because the minute you're down, I'm done. So if you could just go to bed so I can go do whatever.
Yeah.
And so just that. Yeah, I think that makes sense, because I think you're right. If we respond with patience and kindness, it teaches them that that's what they can expect.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good. This is tough. I'm just not. This one's tough.
Yeah, and I think it is, and I think especially set in the context that we're putting this.
Yes.
Like if we were talking about prayer and just breaking down the Lord's Prayer, that's a different.
Yep.
But set it in the context of anxiety and hardship, and that makes the conversation of prayer a little harder.
Yeah.
Because the reality is sometimes that can be the easiest, and sometimes that is definitely when it's the hardest.
Yeah, for sure.
And the more you might even push back on this is all baloney.
Yeah.
Baloney. This is baloney. I was going to use stronger words, but I didn't.
I'm proud of you.
Say baloney.
No, I think that's good. I think that's really good. Well, we want to thank you for joining us today. We hope that you have found some inspiration and encouragement for yourself and for your family. If you'd like to get our podcast delivered directly to you each week, you can subscribe or follow us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify. For more information about Katy First and upcoming events for your family, visit our website, katyfirst.org. Most importantly, we want you to know this, that in the middle of your ordinary, messy life, whatever that looks like for you right now, that you are not alone. You are doing a good job, and you are so loved.
And we hope you'll join us in worship on Sunday. We'll be still in our Family Life Center, finishing out this sermon series. I know it's Labor Day weekend, so we hope if you're not out of town, be in town with us on Sunday.
I love it.
Have a great week.